An alarming surge of hungry families in the U.S. While some food banks have run out of food, millions of pounds of food is wasted and lay rotting in farms. 2 million chickens have been put down due to lack of workers. Hey everybody, JJ here. Bull Boom Bear Bust. It is Monday morning, April 27th. I wanted to bring you some information here that I found, and I do find it pretty alarming of the breakdown of the food system here in the U.S., the supply chains. It's leading to hungry families, food banks running out of food, and it's a complete breakdown of operations as far as feeding people in America that need food. Now, on one hand, you're going to have probably a group of people that are going to say, well, these people, they should have been prepared, they should have had food. But remember, poverty can happen to anyone. Even if you have a lot of money put away, let's say you have $100,000 in the bank, it only takes one accident or one major medical incident to completely bankrupt you in a matter of weeks, maybe a matter of days. Think about the cost of medical. So if someone has a lot of money, they get injured, but they don't have health insurance, and maybe they have to go in for surgery or something happens, an expensive operation. We know that these hospital stays and operations can add up to the hundreds of thousands of dollars in a very short amount of time. Right? So I don't blame anyone for being in poverty. Sure, some people made bad decisions in life. Some people are lazy, they don't want to work. Some people actually choose poverty because it's better off to get a handout. It's easier to get a handout from the government, for example, versus working. But see, that's also a design of the government. It has given people that option to not work and just take handouts. So yes, government causes more poverty. But let's talk about the food banks here. Yes, there's an alarming surge in hungry families. Recent headline here, pandemic causing massive increase in hungry families. And yes, we're seeing food banks actually run out of food in some cases. And we're going to talk about how much wasted food going undelivered to people that need it, and food simply being dumped and left rotting, and we're going to explain why. Here's a recent report right here out of Alabama. Food pantries are running out of food and resources. So yes, there have been some food banks that have run out of food completely. Excerpt here out of this article. At the Salvation Army's food pantry in Birmingham, a line of cars wrapped around the building. A center that serves 50 families on a typical Tuesday is suddenly serving hundreds, mirroring the trends of lines stretching at food banks and pantries around the country. So we ask the question, is there a food shortage? Well, yes, in some areas, just like these food banks that are running out. But overall, no, there's not actually a food shortage because we have farms that are producing food, but now they have no place to send it, so many farms are dumping it, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Another report here, this is Business Insider. The ones that haven't run out of food are worried now that they're going to run out very soon. Will we have enough food? Millions of Americans are now unemployed and hungry. Food banks worry they cannot feed them. Now the U.S. has been in shutdown mode for what, about 5 weeks, going on 6 weeks now. And see, it only takes a few weeks for people that thought they were middle class to find out suddenly, oh wow, we're out of money. We didn't save any money. Either we spent it foolishly or we just couldn't save it. We just bought necessities, but the cost of living was just too much. This report here, thousands of cars line up at one Texas food bank as job losses hit hard. Another headline here, the food supply chain is breaking. Tyson Food warns of meat shortage as plants close due to the pandemic. So what we're seeing now in some meat plants is they're actually shutting down production because of lack of workers, either people getting sick or afraid of getting sick. And another factor that I don't think many people are talking about is that many people are getting more money from the government right now than they would if they were to work. So people actually are choosing not to work because of the $600 a month or $600 weekly bonus to unemployment benefits. So many people that were let go and that filed for unemployment got called back, but they're choosing not to go back. So we have several different factors causing this shortage of workers, and it's going to cause a meat shortage if this doesn't change. Another headline here, similar situation, 2 million chickens will be killed because of lack of employees at processing plants. excerpt out of the article here. 2 million chickens on several farms in Delaware and Maryland will be depopulated, meaning humanely killed, due to lack of employees at chicken processing plants. And the question that you might have, and the question that many people have, is why? Why would we do this? Why would we kill so many chickens and waste this much food when there's food banks running out of food and people that need it? Well, that's because in many cases, sometimes these farms, they simply cannot afford to change up their operation on a dime like this. Many of them were set up to supply restaurants with food, and we've talked about this before, and many of them are not equipped and don't have the financial capacity to drive around the country with chickens to different food banks and give away food for free. And even if they had the capacity, they couldn't do that because you'd have to have workers to prepare all these chickens for delivery and packaging, so it makes it impossible. So it's the only solution is to get rid of the chickens, to depopulate them. 2 million. Another report here, Politico, USDA let millions of pounds of food rot while food bank demand soared. What is going on? Why is food laying rotting? Same thing, the packaging, lack of workers. There's no system for these farms to find the food banks that need it. And even if there were, the change in preparation of the packaging and the delivery and the expense of all that is making these farms just simply plow these crops back under. In this case, we'll show this picture right here. A tractor pushes cabbage into the ground on April 23rd at a farm in Florida. Right, again, another farm that usually supplies restaurants, but now the supply chains, the delivery mechanisms, delivery systems have been altered, and we have millions of pounds of food being wasted in a country where food banks are running out of food. Simply, well, I was going to say amazing, but it's not too surprising considering the White House seems like they're spending the most time and effort on making sure the banks get bailed out, right? So I think the word we can use here is sad. I think it's sad that this is happening for the farmers, for the people that need food, for the people that need jobs. See, this is in my opinion, a perfect storm of failures, right? We have a government, they're too busy trying to keep the financial system propped up, trying to keep the banks bailed out, trying to prevent deflation, instead of really trying to help people. That's the way I see it. Let me know what you think down in comments. We'll end it right here. This is a report here out of the Telegraph. Obesity Watch. Which countries have the biggest weight problem? And we're going to scroll down to a chart here. And you look at the bottom here, to the right, the darker blue is the most obese. And what do we see? The darker blue right here, the United States. And about 33% of people here in the United States are obese. Well, not to make this a laughing matter, but it looks like it might change. You see, when you have a country like the United States that runs up 24 trillion in debt, it's pretty easy to keep everybody in the country fat and happy. But when something happens, like the pandemic, to disrupt the system, right? So I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. Please let me know what you think about this. Is it just me, or should the White House be spending some time and energy figuring out this food problem to help, one, the people that need the food, to help, two, to help the farms not waste all this food? And I believe there are still many people that do want to work, but it takes organization, it takes a system being in process to get this wasted food from this farm to the people that need it. And it just doesn't seem like we have a government that's willing to do that. They're too busy, again, on bailouts and propping up the financial system. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll hopefully be back for another report later on. Hope to see you then. Again, bye for now.